Doing epic story of Tomorrow followers. This is a different video today. I just thought I would do something different and talk a little bit about the legendary Yorkshire hardman Paul Sykes. Now, as a fighting man myself, I look back and I never met the fella. I don't know him. I've only seen documentaries about him, and one thing I will say about him, he's a character and a very, very intelligent man. Now, as people know, I've done podcasts about Paul. I've spoke to certain people. I've spoke to Jamie about Paul, Jamie Boyle, who's actually very well educated in Paul's life. And, a lot of things go around about Paul. And my personal opinion is I don't believe the things that get said about Paul Sykes, about with all the young boys and stuff. I don't believe it one little bit. And I'll tell you why. Mention no names, but I have a family friend who's actually been in prison with Paul Sykes. He was actually been in prison with Paul Sykes, Duffy, Viv Graham, Harry Perry. Who's in with Mad Frankie Fraser. He's been in with quite a few of the legendary gangsters. And he told me himself that any time that he's seen Paul Sykes in the prison, no such thing went on. What happened, what the screws used to do, and quote me on this, anybody, is the screws used to scare the newcomers into prison that if you carry on and work your ticket, they would set Paul Sykes onto you. Now, that's supposed to be a true story, and that comes from a family friend that actually spent time in prison with Sykes. Like I say, no names mentioned. I'm just doing a different video. I just think it's something different to do. I mean, it is a mental health channel, it is a fight talk channel, but I just thought it's something different because it just gets a bit boring talking about the same things. But for me, I would probably put Paul Sykes up there in his prime from what I've seen with the best of them, with Lenny McLean. Apparently he beat Roy Shaw twice in prison, knocked him out in prison. Apparently that's the stories going around. And I could well believe it as well. Like I said, that's another story I heard of Jamie on the podcast. But what a man, what a character. It was quite a sad way that he went out, but if you think about it, you always hear rumours, especially even about Duffy, and I mean, Lee Duffy was actually padded up with the family friend of ours, and the family friend said he was nothing but a gentleman. Said he was an absolute character. He was a good character, funny, and he never ever seen him bully anybody. Apparently said he's seen him once beat someone up in prison, but the rumours about him being a bully and stuff. I mean, my opinion on Duffy was he probably bullied the people that bullied him. When he was growing up, so he's probably got revenge on everybody. But yourself as well, he was a young lad, like he died at 26 years of age. And yourself, come on boys, especially men, when you're a young lad, 21, 22, full of beans and you can have a fight, you always go looking for trouble. I don't care what anybody says, we've all been there, we've all done it, we've all went out and partying uptown with the boys, showing off in front of the girls, knocking people out, starting fights for nothing. We've all been there and done it. But I mean, people of that calibre like Duffy and Sykes, I mean, they're just one of the kind, aren't they? They don't breed men like that anymore. Nowadays, it's knives and guns and gangs, and you don't get really a fair fight nowadays. And that, to be honest with you, that is why I actually enjoy doing bare knuckle fighting, because you actually get to have a fair fight in a controlled environment. So yeah, but I just thought I would get a little say on the matter. But no, I don't believe the stories about Sykes with young boys. That's just my personal opinion. Was he gay? Probably. Possibly. Spent a lot of time in prison. It's well known that men, when you saw, and women must spend a lot of years in prison in turn because, well, you're in prison and you're not getting sex. So, but I don't believe that the rumours about with young boys and stuff, not at all. As Jamie said on the podcast that we were talking about, there was not one conviction of that sort of incident with him. So, but like I said, it's just a different video. The reason why I'm making it is because we do have a family friend that spent time in prison with these names. But yeah, I mean, nobody, a lot of people don't mention Harry Perry either. HP from Newcastle. He was a really well respected figure in Newcastle back in the day. I've done a little bit of studying on Harry Perry, and he was Newcastle's boy, wasn't he, back in the day? Then you had Viv. But I don't get people's mindset when they say, who do you think would have won out of this? And who do you think, well, at the end of the day, Lee, Duffy and Viv didn't have a fight, so you'd never know, do you? People have their opinions of who would think what, but it's like with Paul Sykes. To me, my opinion, in his prime, not many men would have beat him. I mean, there was a fella, I can't mind his name, was it Mitchell? There was a fella that Jamie mentioned that beat him. Meant to be a pure gentleman, actually beat Sykes in a straightener in a pub. But like, this is what I'm trying to say, guys. It doesn't matter how hard you are. There's always someone tougher. And I keep mentioning this all the time. There's always a harder man than you. I mean, this is one reason why I never go looking for trouble, because you could be picking on the wrong person. Do you know what I mean? And you'll always find mostly the hardest men, normally, don't really go looking for trouble. But come on, we've all been there when we've been young, 19, 20, upcoming. You start getting a bit of name for yourself, you start getting full of beans and start knocking people out, getting a bit of confidence. We've all done it. We've all been there. Come on. I mean, I'm bred in Carlisle, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of hard, tough men in Carlisle. Carlisle's bred for hard men. Even now, as lads, I won't mention names, but I get on with quite a few, and there's one of them that I rate very highly. I actually was speaking to him on Instagram the other day. I put him up there with the best of them. But no, there's always a harder man, simple as. But that's like I say, I've got a family friend who spent time in prison with Viv, Lee, Paul, and he said Lee was nothing but a lovely fella. He did say that Lee was very, he could be on edge if there was someone maybe bigger than him or that he felt was a bit of competition for him. So I'd just say like a big old bodybuilder that looked tough, rough and tough, maybe want to test his cell against him, but apparently with smaller people he was spot on. He was a good fella. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and give you stories about these guys because I don't really know nothing about them. I'm just making a video because I was, we've got a family friend who's been telling us a lot of stories about these characters and the times that he spent in prison. But yeah, so that's just this morning's video. But on Paul Sykes, nah, I don't believe he was like it at all. I believe he was a very hard man. Do I believe he was a bully? Possibly could have been intimidating people. I mean, you've got to remember the man was a massive. He was strong as an ox. Big, strong, natural man. What a character. Very, very clever. Very intelligent. You can tell that by the ways that you can tell he's very educated. And for all the people going on about my mouth, has my teeth been knocked out? No, they've not. Just got a bit of a lisp. That's it. Just for the haters. I'm just letting you know. Okay? But listen, guys, that's my video. That's my little 2 pence on just a little story that I was going to say. But have a good day. God bless. Subscribe, like to the channel. If you want to donate, you can donate through the thanks button. You can also become a member by clicking the join button and click access, and then also you can donate through the comments in the $sign. So have a good day, guys, and God bless.